Suspended above a fiery wreckage, Miles Morales and Peter Parker, the Spider-Man, are tied up. Their target is escaping in a plane, and the two have little hope of catching it while restrained. They argue about their predicament, blaming each other for the situation, but Miles does have an idea of how they can escape. Using his Venom Blast, the younger Spider-Man frees the two heroes, though it leaves Peter momentarily stunned. Miles takes off after the plane as it ascends, but his webbing is destroyed by the plane's engines as it flies away. With their target gone, Miles says he is sorry to a recovered Peter. However, the older Spider-Man only blames himself. It's his fault. He had plenty of opportunities to stop Miles from ever becoming Spider-Man, and he never did, even after he discovered who Miles really was all along. Morales has no business being Spider-Man. None of this should have ever happened. Hello and welcome to Comic Island. My name is Arden, and this is my review of Spider-Man 2 number 1. So this week's Patreon poll winner was a solid choice overall. The first Spider-Man crossover was a lot of fun if you ask me. You might recall that being a cross-dimensional adventure back when the Ultimate and 616 universes were separate. Now that they've merged, Marvel is able to do more of these crossovers without as much difficulty in terms of storytelling. The opportunity is at a prime, and it seems like a great idea to me. I would like to see more of Peter and Miles working together, and this story seems to be focused exactly on that. What is really interesting about this comic is that it also works very much as a sequel to the first Spider-Man. That story ended with Peter returning home and looking into the 616 version of Miles Morales. We never really found out what Peter discovered then, and now, at long last, it seems like we finally will. That's cool. I had actually forgotten about this little plot detail until the comic brought it up. But if I had been asked about it, I would have assumed that this little plot point wouldn't have carried weight after the Secret Wars merger of the two worlds. It's cool that they haven't forgot about it and that this plot point is finally coming into play. I'm not going to give away any of the spoilers regarding this issue or its interesting ending, but it's pretty clear this miniseries is going to give us some hints about the nature of the Ultimate Universe merging with this one. In fact, this comic got me thinking that a lot of Marvel's stories seem to be dealing with this merger in interesting ways. Ultimate Wolverine's son is part of X-Men Blue, and Infamous Iron Man has some cool stuff with Ultimate Reed Richards going on. I'm sure there's other examples out there. I don't know what's up with this, but I am glad that bits and pieces of the Ultimate Universe are still holding weight in the world of Marvel. That's a nice sign that all that stuff with Secret Wars didn't happen without consequence, beyond just bringing Miles into the main universe. And I really like that. A big event like that should hold some weight and have some consequences in future stories. Anyhow, the comic itself does some really nice work overall. Brian Michael Bendis, as always, just seems so at home with Spider-Man, especially with Miles. Some of his writing with Peter's internal monologue is a little too unoriginal for my taste, but by and large, it's great writing and dialogue overall. These two characters are always fun together, and issue number 1 of this comic does not let us down in that regard. There's also this thing that's been going on for a while now, where when Peter sees Miles, he goes, "Far out! It's Spider-Man!" A great little joke that finally gets commented on here with a quip I found even more amusing. It's a lovely comic that Sara Pichelli does some fine work with, especially with her design of this strange version of Taskmaster that shows up in the issue. Some of her facial expressions do throw me off, and that's kind of typical for her art, which can get a little cluttered in some issues. Justin Ponsor does a great job with some of the colors in this comic too. So it's a great comic and an easy recommendation for this week. Be sure to check this one out for yourself if you're interested. I'm sure some people are going to rag on Marvel for doing another sequel, but I really don't have any problem with sequels on their own. And Marvel has only done like 2 of these. Sequels can be great, and so far this one is shaping up to be exactly that. All I can tell you is that I saw a comic with some new characters, some interesting ideas, and a few real surprises along the way. It was a fun read overall. Let me know what you think of Spider-Man 2 in the comments section below. Special thanks to our patrons for picking this week's bonus video. And finally, don't forget to like, subscribe, and keep reading comics.